Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm Bren and this is Brandy, and you have found Love Yourself, Love Your Food, our intuitive nutrition community where Brandy and I get on to talk about different wellness concepts and what we like to call tasty tools to support your journey to authentic health. Today the topic is practicing presence. We've been diving into nervous system support, polyvagal theory, emotional regulation, and now we're feeling uh, the theme around really practicing presence and continuing to nourish your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical state through presence with yourself, with your emotions, with your food, with your relationships, with whatever is there for you. So it's the concept of awareness. If you were tuned into the last call, or if you find the need to go to the last call on our channel, you will see that we had a practice that brought your awareness to your body and your breath, and then an invitation to your emotions and your thoughts. So today, as a practice, we're going to bring our awareness to the current space that we reside in as a way to bring all of yourself from wherever you're coming from or wherever you think you're headed back to this now moment. And that's where grounded, creative inspiration that's really rooted in authenticity can be born. So, just taking a moment to check in with your space, wherever you're at, take the pause and start to scan your environment without any intentions other than to observe. Many times when we're feeling stressed, we can find that we have switched our attention to maybe ruminating thoughts or what might happen in the future or fear of the past. And we have forgotten to attune ourselves into the current space, the present moment. So as we observe, we're simply bringing our awareness and calling it back to the space around you. And as you continue to scan, just make sure that you cover the entire space. Take a moment to see, is there anything in my space that I haven't seen? When we're in a stress response, we can get tunnel vision. So this is an opportunity to widen our perspective. This can allow solutions to come in, allow the body to soften and open to receive what it needs, maybe in this time of stress. And on your next scan, I'm going to invite you to look for one thing that catches your attention. One thing that you see that your eyes want to gravitate and focus on for just a moment. No judgment. Take your time to find it. Just naturally trusting. And once you've found it, just be with that space, that item. Observe what's there for you. And now, as you take in your environment, I want you to see if there is one thing that you can hear. What's one thing that you can hear? And just taking a nice rhythmic deep breath. And switching to see what's one thing that you can feel. There may be something that you want to pick up, a texture you're gravitating to. It may be a sensation in the body. Trust your own guidance. One thing you can feel. And allowing yourself the space just to feel. And then taking the next few moments of observation and shifting into one thing you can smell. Maybe you have a drink or some food, or there's a scent in your space, or maybe your own aroma. And finally, what's one thing that you can taste? If there's something in your space that you can enjoy, to tune into the sensation of taste, I invite you to do that. Take your time. And if not, you can simply invite that awareness and that sensation of taste to just tune into your mouth and what flavors you might pick up on that are already present. And depending on how sensitive you may be, you could even invite in taste as a messenger. Spirit and energy can connect and communicate with us through all our senses, including giving us smells and tastes that we maybe were not even consuming or present with. And just taking everything that you've allowed to come in from your current environment through your senses, allowing them to be, thanking them with gratitude for this practice of presence and awareness. And when you're ready, taking a few deep rhythmic breaths at your own pace. And taking this presence into this call with us. Welcome. How was that, Brandy?
Um, that I think that when we got to like the taste part of it, I'm like, I'm looking around and just like being in a quiet space, all of a sudden I started hearing my tummy make some noises, maybe like some digestion noises that, unless it's really a growl, sometimes like you don't really pay attention to it. So I'm sitting here and I'm like hearing my stomach make noises as I'm thinking like, what am I tasting? Like, what is something I would like to taste? Is there, I have water here, so it doesn't really have a taste to it, but just tuning into my body in a quiet space. So just practicing presence is not hard. It's setting up a few minutes, just a few minutes to reconnect with your body or your space. When I was looking around my space, I cleaned my space today. So like everything is, proper wherever it needs to be. But something that stood out to me is a sign that I have that, when you have something in your space and you see it every day, you kind of forget about it. But the message to me was be brave, take risks, have courage, seek adventure. And behind that sign have this cutest little metal bike that's in this turquoise color that is just like I just love. There's just something happy about this color. So I mean that's my color, but like that turquoise just makes me feel happy. So be brave, take risks, have courage. Which I'm in a space in my life right now that's I need to hear that message.
That's beautiful. And I love that that practice of presence allowed that to come in, which is why we like to point to these tools. And a lot of them are to one, pause, and then some type of practice that is around awareness, stillness, presence, to open up, to receive what's already right there for you in your environment, in your now moment, and then being able to get intimate with yourself, with the messages that you already plant for yourself right there in your space, or even the color. Like it makes turquoise and that color for me is peaceful. It makes me think of calm, tranquil waters. And it invokes peace within me. So then, if I'm finding that I'm attuning to that, it's like, what's there for me and what is it? And then you can guide yourself to your own tools when you are feeling maybe not as connected to your present moment, or you do have a lot of turmoil coming up for you to be seen and felt in the present. You can even attune to your colors or your message. You can be like, oh, that's right. Let's go and feel. You can actually feel and embody that color and that message and what that means to you, and bring your home space, your safe space that you've created right here into the body. It's a way to integrate and also take that embodiment and that home and that vessel anywhere you go. You can always bring your awareness back to what brings you peace, what
Hmm.
brings you joy. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think another thing I would add to that is gratitude. Like when you're practicing presence, gratitude is a part of that too. Like how it can rewire your brain when you start to practice gratitude. So I try and do it as much as I can, even if it's just the simplest thing. Just being grateful to have a space where you can practice presence. I mean, it can be as simple as that.
Yes, yeah, yeah, and that's a great point is sometimes you're in a space where you can tell it's pulling you out of presence or it's bringing up a lot of emotions within you or your safety mechanisms are saying, I don't feel safe. Being present with that part of you and then moving to where you do feel safe is huge. That's part of presence of, ooh, this doesn't feel good to me. I need to set a boundary and leave, or I need to go find space for me to breathe. And then in that place, practicing presence to see what's there for you. Yeah, it's a great reminder of how to navigate those relationships, spaces, times, even thoughts that don't feel safe. We can bring those even to our awareness, and we might look around and say, "Yo, this isn't good for me. This isn't safe for me. This isn't healthy for me." And part of practicing presence is that I now am leaving, I'm exiting this space, and then I'm going to go find my safe space that I'm being guided to go to or to go cultivate. Yeah,
So
I
I,
love
I
that.
felt calm in this space, but if I had not cleaned my space today, it might have been totally different. So that like when you're uncomfortable or you don't want to be in that space, it could have been a completely different practice that could have been stressful. But the fact that I did everything is where it needs to be at the moment. And so it feels like a good, happy space. But like, what would you do in the case of the dishes are in the sink and there's stuff on the counter and this something's on the floor over here? Practicing presence in a space like that, what would you say? How would you help guide someone that if they're in a space and doing practicing presence with us or on your own, what would be your suggestion?
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Those are the like growth opportunities. And it's all dependent. That's why we talk about the journey to authentic health. One person might be totally fine with that space and be like, their perspective might look over at a stack of dishes and feel gratitude for the food that they were able to cook this morning with their family. Another time or person or moment might see that, and this part of them might come online that feels like they didn't do enough, they didn't get to all their things, or guilty about taking the time for wellness. So, this practice of presence, it invites it all to belong. And so, when you're scanning, you might feel peace and be like, this is feels peaceful to me. This feels really good. Other times, you might be like, overloaded with a to-do list and then guilt comes in and so it's staying present with whatever comes through as a messenger. Depersonalize it a little, see what's there, and then see how you can stay present with it no matter how uncomfortable it is. Give it the love that it's asking for. A lot of times those parts just want our love because of course it's easy to be super present and peaceful when our space is all clean, everything's organized, no one's bothering us, right? That's a cool, you're zen, right? Growth opportunity to strengthen that. Walk out in this world. It's chaos. There's going to be confrontation. There's going to be unsafe energy dynamics. There's going to be things that don't work how we want them to work. And for me, I think the opportunity is to strengthen with a practice where you know what your presence of peace feels like and what it does feel like to feel good and safe in your body and your environment. And then you make steps and find out, well, what doesn't feel good to me and why, and make sure that you challenge if it's shame or guilt or blame narrative that's telling you you're not good enough. Um, or if it's truly something in the environment that truly isn't safe for you, you have to be able to discern. But in order to discern, we have to know ourselves really well and our bodies and how we communicate within ourselves and our environments. And so this practice allows you to get to know yourself and how you can communicate, and so when you are out in the world and some of these things come up, you're like, oh, okay. I see what I'm telling myself, and I see where my peace is telling me to go. Or I see here's a growth opportunity for me. I'm about to be vulnerable and a part of me doesn't want to do that, but I know it's serving me and I'm going to choose to breathe and stay present with the emotions that come up that are trying to maybe protect a version of me that wants to stay safe but is really a small version of me, which is what I saw when I scanned that caught my attention was the pine cone. And it was really wanted me to focus in on this. We're being asked to discern and observe our responses to life and challenge whether they are protecting an old version, an old belief, and really self-sabotaging, or if they're protecting our peace and our truth and where we want to go, because we can have parts of us that want to protect because we want to stay where we are because we're more comfortable there. But then the other part is like, no, we really want to grow. And the pine cone is very protective because it's protecting a seed and protecting, the continuation of this plant. But then what I was seeing, it's like, it's time to open up, crack open the heart, make sure that you really understand what your protection mechanisms are doing and making sure all your parts are on the same page of like, I'm protecting my peace, I'm protecting my integrity, I'm protecting my value system, I'm protecting where my heart is telling me to go, not I'm protecting my shame, I'm protecting my guilt that I feel. I'm protecting my vulnerability. It's really wanting us to crack open and navigate in a really present, discerning way. But the first step is to get to know yourself.
That was an amazing practice, and we are excited to have you join us on this journey to authentic health. And with our topic that we will be discussing this go round is practicing presence. So now you have one tool in your toolbox that you can use, and we will give you some more tools to put in your toolbox when it comes to practicing presence with your food. And we're just excited to have you here.
Yeah, and so check out all the details in the links below and on our channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then join us for our monthly wellness calls the third Monday of every month, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully you can come in on this one for practicing presence. And if you do tune into this one, we recommend bring a snack, bring a meal, bring something to drink. So we will be diving into mindful meals whenever we talk about this theme as a group. So come have some fun with us, practice presence with us, enjoy a mindful meal, and just dive into getting to know yourself a little bit more and each other.
Yes, where you'll be loving yourself and loving your food.
Yay, we'll see you there.